Chapter 10. Accept the Past. Cal's point of view. Get us out of here, Grease! Marin was busy fighting off the bounty hunters that kept attacking us until we got on board the ship. Once we were all inside and the hatch closed, Grease took off, kick-starting the ship to light speed, finally escaping. That was way too close, said Annika. Thanks for the help, Marin, I began. No problem, Cal. I'm just glad to see you're safe. Grease was starting to lose it in that cell, she replied. Hey, may I remind you that I had a reason to be worried? They were going to feed me to giant monsters. Everyone couldn't help but chuckle lightly at Grease's comment. Any news on Seer? Said Marin. No, it's strange. I can't see her anymore. It's like something is blocking my vision, I added. What about the Sith? Any type of contact with him? She asked. Strange enough, Varlo and I had an encounter with him. He's dead now. You managed to stop him? Even Malicos put up an even bigger fight than that. I know, but maybe it's for the best that he's gone now. We can find Seer and get rid of this holocron. As I looked over towards Annika and Varlo, I couldn't help but watch as they were catching up. It felt strange to see a smile on her face, since she's been so guarded with me. Cal, BD1 is talking to you, Marin started. Huh? Oh, sorry, BD. Looks like you could use some fixing up. I picked him up gently and made my way to the back of the ship. As I fixed BD1 up, I carefully placed him up, allowing him to test everything out. BD1 danced around in satisfaction, causing me to laugh. Hey, Cal? I turned around to see it was Annika. Hey, need something? Well, first, I wanted to thank you for finding Varlo and getting us out of there. I'm sorry I haven't been the easiest person to talk to. I know how frustrating that must be for you. It's okay. I get it. I used to have a lot of walls up too, before I finally opened up to anyone, really. How did you get through it? She asked. Accepting my past and moving forward. We both stayed silent for a moment until I continued to carry the conversation. You're still confused about what happened to your parents, aren't you? I just want the truth, she replied. To know if it was accurate, what I saw. Well, maybe I can help with that. Do you have anything from your parents, like a trinket or something? Just this pin, she replied, taking it off. There was some type of symbol on it, but I couldn't quite make out what it was. Once she handed it to me, I took a deep breath and tried my best to see the past events of this pin. Soon, I saw Annika's parents. They were running from the Empire, just like she told me. But why? As the vision went on, I saw the event that Annika described to me. I could see who killed her parents, and suddenly, it all made sense. Once I opened my eyes, Annika anxiously looked at me. Well, who was it? Was it a Jedi? Actually, no. Those marks you saw were not from lightsabers. It was from blasters, I began. Your parents were killed by clone troopers. That's not possible, though. I saw the person run with the lightsaber, Annika argued. I saw them too, but they weren't near your parents. They were running away from the troopers. I looked down and saw the pin shining a bit. I grabbed one of my rags, cleaning it off. When I finished, I recognized the symbol right away. Starbird. What does that mean? Annika asked. It's the symbol of the Jedi, I replied. The truth suddenly hit Annika. She shook her head rapidly as her hands clutched to her chest. That's not possible. They couldn't be. No, you're lying, Cal. Annika, it all makes sense. Why your parents left? This pin? They were on the run from the Empire. I suddenly felt a light bulb go off in my head. It took me a moment to register, but I stared at Annika in shock. Why are you looking at me like that? It was you. You were the one I sensed when I was in Coruscant. That means... No, I am no Jedi. Even if I was, I wouldn't want to be one, she cried out. Well, if it helps, you won't have to worry about that, I replied. How so? Let me ask you this. Did you ever have an experience with the Force, even if you didn't understand it? Annika removed her hand slowly from her chest as she pondered, for a moment. Not that I ever tried, because I never knew I had it. Then you've cut it off long enough for it to be gone by now, I replied. She sighed a bit in relief. I handed her back her pin, but saw that look of grief in her eyes take over. I'm so sorry, Annika. No, I'm sorry for not believing you. I guess the truth really does hurt sometimes, huh? She sat down on my bed, taking in everything we discussed. I sat down next to her, trying my best to comfort her. I knew none of this information was going to be easy to process, considering she just discovered that she was a Force sensitive due to her parents being Jedi. I'm surprised they managed to keep that from the Council, considering the consequences they would have faced, but that doesn't matter now. Do you want me to get Varlo? I asked. Why would I need Varlo right now? She replied. Well, because isn't he, well, you know. She furrowed her eyebrows at me, then realized what I meant. Oh, no. Varlo and I are just friends. Why? Well, I assumed that you would want someone else to comfort you. Someone who understands you. I mean, he does, Annika replied. But for this situation, no, he wouldn't get it. Fair point. What about you? She began. What do you mean? Are you serious right now? Cal, come on. Don't you have a special girl back home? No. And the reason for that is because Jedi are forbidden to have any type of attachments. It could lead to fear and loss, and ultimately end up on the dark side of the Force. Well, that seems cruel, she replied. So you've never had any type of relationships at all? What about your parents? You can't show any type of attachment to them? I never knew them, to be honest. I'm sorry to hear that, she replied. We stayed quiet for a moment, looking away from each other. I felt her hand on my shoulder, which caused me to look at her once more. For the first time, she actually smiled ever so slightly at me. I understand now that you truly were trying to protect me. I'm sorry it's taken me this long to realize, but I get it now, and I thank you for being patient. Thank you. That means a lot, I replied. Survivors find a way to adapt, right? I felt myself smile as she said that. Yeah, we managed to find a way. I could tell she was tearing up a bit, but she quickly wiped her tears. She gently laid her head on my shoulder, which caught me off guard. For some reason, though, I didn't mind it. I looked up at the ceiling, feeling my eyes get heavy. I leaned back a bit, still feeling Annika's head on my shoulder. I just need to rest my eyes for a minute or so. After an hour or so, Cal felt something nudging his shoulder, causing him to awaken. Hey, kid, wake up. I groaned slightly as I felt myself coming out of a deep sleep. I looked down and noticed Annika's head was now on my chest, sleeping peacefully. What is it, Grease? I whispered. You're getting an encrypted message from Mari. It sounded pretty urgent. I moved Annika off of me as gently as I could as I set her down on the bed. Once we walked out of the room, Grease followed me from behind. So are you two... Grease started, but I cut him off. No, we're not. Whatever you say, kid. Grease, you know why I can't. I do, but you know, times are changing. Maybe you can find a way to adapt to it, he implied. Annika and I are just friends. Nothing more. Ah, so you're in the friend zone, he teased again. Quit it, Grease. Come on. I went over to the holomap, quickly answering Mari's message. Cal, thank goodness, I got through to you. Is everything okay? I replied. Not exactly. Yavin 4 is stable, but we just received a port from Tarful on Kashyyyk. The Empire has taken more of the land and expanded their refinery. The Wookiees retreated to the forest, but a lot of them have been captured. I know this is a lot to ask, but we need your help. I'll be there. Is Saw back at all? It took a lot of stubborn arguments to get him here, but yes, Saw Gerrera has returned, she replied. But even he can't stop all of the Imperial troopers, so we need some backup. I'll explain the rest of the plan once you get here. We'll be there as soon as possible. Hang in there, Mari, and be careful. After we ended the call, I looked over at Grease. He went back to the front of the ship, setting the new course. Just hang in there a little longer, Seer. If you can hear me in any way, just hold on. End of Chapter 10.